Oh, what to do, YouTube fam? Getting us started off with a little Ramblin' Gamblin' Man by Bob Seger, a song that I used to love when I was a kid that I recently rediscovered. I'm fired up. I'm very fired up for this MMA Monday. It feels good to be back-to-back episodes. It's been, like I said, it's been like over a full year and a half since I did the previous episode that I relaunched, whatever, Monday. Now we're back, consistent. Uh, Hopefully going to be consistent for the next couple weeks. Also got to text out this link real quick to some people so we can get this popping. Fired up though. I told you guys I was fired up. Why might I be fired up? You might ask, or you might wonder. Well, my 100 push-ups a day. I've been doing 100 push-ups a day. I started doing that actually like probably beginning of the year last year, like of 2022. But I would do it like on and off. Like I'd do it for like a month, couple weeks, a month, and then kind of fall off, do push-ups, couple days, fall off. Never really consistent, but over the past, I'd say, month and a half, 2 months now, 100 push-ups a day, I'm really starting to see the results. I've watched a few videos on it of like people talking about their experience, their journey with doing 100 push-ups a day. Someone talked about how they think it boosted like testosterone in their body, which caused them to grow. Like I'm assuming they were on the same age as I am, like early 20s, caused like more facial hair growth, which I've noticed. It's kind of weird. It's only been on the right side of my face, but I have started to grow a little bit more facial hair, which is quite interesting. But all in all, I feel like you feel better, and it gets to a point too where 100 push-ups is nothing. I might have to raise the bar to like 200 or something, 150. I don't know, but I don't know. Feels good, and yeah, I've been fired up for that. But that's not actually the main reason I'm fired up. If you guys can see in the title, Jon Jones is back. Let me make sure too that everything is groovy and moving on the YouTube side of things. Make sure. We are live. Let me check on my phone. It looks like it. Okay. Why is this not loading? Okay, yeah. We should be good. Um, Jon Jones is back, as announced on, what, Saturday? Dana White announced. I didn't even see when he announced it. I don't know if he was at the event, if he was at the post-fight press conference, but he announced that Jon Jones would be fighting Cyril Gane in March 4th, I want to say, sometime in the beginning of March. They're actually, the whole month of March is going to be insane. They're going to have the Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman, the third fight between them in London on March 18th. So 2 pay-per-views in the month of March. On top of that, you have the Fiziev and Gaethje fight also, which is in the title. I think that's going to probably be it's going to be a fight of the year candidate. It's obviously early to say because we're literally in January, so it's a little quick to say, but I mean, both their fight styles. It's kind of tough though because I'm a big Gaethje fan, and I think Fiziev. I mean, early prediction wise, I think Fiziev might be a little bit more skilled. I think Fiziev might beat him. I think this might be the end of Justin Gaethje, or at least we might start to see his decline because he kind of has a style where he allows himself to take some punches, get hit, throws himself in the fire, in order to land some punches to ultimately change the fight to win the fight. I don't know if that's a smart strategy against somebody like Fiziev, who's obviously a very skilled Muay Thai fighter. He's like the coach at Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand. Very experienced in the striking realm and probably a better striker overall. And it's going to have better defense. Gaethje likes to use his face as defense. Thoughts on Salt Poppy? I actually don't know much about Salt Poppy. I saw his last knockout before whatever this Saturday. I don't even know who he is or what he's famous for. I know he's on TikTok, but it's kind of bad, but I'm not on TikTok. I don't really get on TikTok too much, so I'm not familiar with Salt Poppy. But I did see his knockout as well. He seems like out of anybody in the YouTube boxing scene, probably the most experienced, or not most experienced, but probably the most skilled. Jake Paul's probably the most experienced, but I don't know. I don't even know what weight Salt Poppy would be. Maybe him and Jake Paul would actually be an entertaining fight. Obviously, I don't know if he's got the clout to fight somebody like Jake Paul, but I don't know. Keeps winning, keeps knocking people out. People are going to want to see that kind of fight. Face Temper and KSI as well. I saw that fight. Face Temper, I've seen Face Temper. I grew up being like a big gaming nerd, and I used to be really big into Phase and Optic, all that stuff. And it's just so funny seeing Phase Temper like boxing now because I even saw him like a couple years ago mess around with like hitting pads, striking, that sort of stuff. He doesn't look very good. And then I'm obviously stuck with it, and now he's boxing like in pay-per-view spots against somebody like KSI, who KSI is not even a real boxer, but obviously he's boxed a little bit more than FaZe Temper. He's had those fights against Logan Paul. I forget who else he's fought, but he's just a little bit more experienced and probably just a better boxer. I don't know. FaZe Temper can't box, and I don't know really where I'm going with that, but he needs to hang it up because he got knocked out pretty bad. I think he's been knocked out pretty bad twice now in both of his pro boxing fights. That's not a way to I mean, especially when you got the kind of money that he probably has being the CEO of FaZe. You don't need to be getting punched in the face, taking brain damage. So I'd hang it up if I'm FaZe Temper. But the YouTube boxing scene is quite interesting because there is a few people that actually are kind of skilled. But other than that, it's honestly kind of a shit show. Uh, also in the news, Francis Ngannou, potentially, speaking of boxing, potentially transitioning over into boxing. If anybody is familiar with Francis Ngannou, like one of the scariest UFC heavyweights of all time, probably the baddest man on the planet in terms of overall fighting. If there's one man you probably don't want to mess with, it's probably Francis Ngannou. He's got scary power. There's been talks that he might even go to bare knuckle fighting championship, which would be insane because somebody with the kind of power that he has, I mean, he's like, we've literally seen him split people's face open with gloves on. I could not imagine him punching somebody bare knuckle. Either his hand's going to explode or somebody's face is going to explode. I just really question if BKFC has the kind of money to pull in somebody like Francis, because Francis, obviously, if he turned down a deal from the UFC, the biggest, like one of the biggest fighting organizations in the world, if not the biggest, I don't know if any lower promotion like BKFC is going to have the kind of money, especially when the UFC was offering him like the highest paid deal for any heavyweight of all time. It's kind of interesting to see who's going to be able to offer him the kind of money that's going to get Francis interested. But I'd love to see him in BKFC. I know they might even have some old mafia money back in them. I've heard some sketchy rumors, but it's all based out of South Florida. I know that's where a lot of those guys kind of resided, going on the lam, as they like to say. So I don't know. Maybe the mafia money can pull in Francis Ngannou to BKFC. Can we talk about your low key beard? I actually shaved my crappy little goatee and mustache, but the push-ups have been helping boost up the testosterone, so I can start to grow on the sideburns, get some mutton chops going, maybe hopefully get that connected. Is Platinum Mike Perry still in BKFC? Yeah, there's actually, I think he was supposed to fight Jake Paul, which would be perfect. That's like the perfect circus event. But I think Jake Paul actually turned that fight down, or at least that's what Mike Perry said. So I don't know, but yeah, he's still in BKFC. He's actually doing kind of well. I think he's only lost one fight. I don't even think he's actually lost. I could be wrong on that. He beat Michael Venom Page, who's actually like a really, really good striker in Bellator, which is like the league below the UFC. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Mike Perry's, because Mike Perry's probably the biggest name that they have, or if one of the biggest names that BKFC has. So it would be interesting to see mutton chops. Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who they put Mike Perry against. I could even see him getting out of his contract and fighting, a Jake Paul and Anderson Silva, somebody like that in like an actual boxing fight. But yeah, I don't know. Francis Ngannou could even go over to boxing and fight somebody like Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, like one of those guys. But one of those guys would absolutely murk Francis Ngannou. So that'd be interesting to see. I don't know. Obviously, he's probably going to go wherever the money goes. And speaking of money in MMA, James Krause as well, kind of in the hot seat. He's been in the news for a while. I honestly thought it was going to be something that was just stupid that kind of blew over. If you guys aren't familiar with the James Krause situation, he's a former UFC fighter that kind of retired from fighting because he got really big into MMA betting. He also runs an MMA gym where he trains MMA fighters that are now fighting in the UFC. And some of these fighters, they get injuries, they go into fights, they blow out a knee. Maybe James Krause knows about it, and he bets a lot of money on his fighters that, he knows are injured going into a fight, and they kind of have an agreement like, okay, I'm just going to take some shots and then get knocked out basically in the first round. Basically, James Krause is fixing fights. Like I said, former UFC fighter, now has fighters underneath him that he is having fight in the UFC. And there's been basically confirmation that he kind of has been fixing fights. I thought it was something stupid at first, but now... there was even a statement that came out from a fighter, Jeff Molina. It was an ESPN article. I can't find it, but it was an ESPN article, so that shows you the credibility. Jeff Molina was basically saying that he knows all this stuff. He's got the inside scoop with fighters. He even knows when some fighters are injured. Specifically said that. And then the whole thing that got James Krause in trouble was the Derek Minner and Shailin Nurdimbake fight, where Derek Minner literally, like, everybody was like betting on him to lose in the first minute of the first round by TKO. And that's literally what happened. So kind of fishy, and that's kind of what James Krause also called that in his betting group, which Derek Minner is a fighter underneath him. So why would he bet one of his own fighters to lose by knockout in like the first round of the fight? Like, that seems like, if you're coaching somebody like that, that's not a very good mindset to have about your athlete. So a little bit fishy there. Sounds like James Krause is going to be doing some time in jail, which is, it kind of sucks because I actually saw some tweet. Ben Rothwell versus Francis and BKFC. I would like to see that. That would actually be an entertaining fight. But I don't know if there's too many heavyweights in BKFC outside of that. That would be an exciting fight for Francis. But a lot of people, a lot of fighters are upset that this whole James Krause situation, because now it's kind of screwed up. It's kind of screwed up, like, other fighters being able to bet on fights. Where was it? Hinata Moicano, who is slowly starting to become one of my favorite personalities in the UFC. He goes, John fucking Bones plus 100 underdog. God damn, I would bet my house if I could. Damned be you, James Krause. Pretty funny little tweet. I wish I had a young Jamie or somebody to pop up this tweet on the screen. But it was pretty funny little tweet. If you guys are betting too, I guess I'm outside of the whole MMA betting realm, so FBI can't crack down on me. The whole UFC law doesn't apply to me. If you guys want a nice little bet, I would bet on John Jones. If John Jones is still an underdog right now, let me see what the odds are on DraftKings. I'm sure a lot of money's come in. But the fact that John Jones, if Francis Ngannou, who is far less technically sound in grappling and just overall in MMA than John Jones. John Jones is far more technically superior. If Francis Ngannou can out-grapple Cyril Gane on 2 blown-out knees, what do you think the greatest heavyweight of all time is going to do to Cyril Gane? Or not the greatest heavyweight of all time. The greatest light heavyweight and the greatest MMA fighter, period, of all time is going to do to Cyril Gane. What is this? What are the odds? What are the odds? Where are we at? March. John Jones, it's actually a pick'em fight, minus 110 now. So there's still some good value. It looks like money has come in because he went from being an underdog to now it's a pick'em fight. I would throw some money. Actually, I'm probably going to do that after. You know, I'm going to do it right now. I'm not even going to say I'm going to do it after this podcast. I'm going to do it right now. I'm throwing some money on John Jones. I'm going to get crazy. I'm going to get real crazy. I'm throwing $25. There you go, folks. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. Oh, I got to log in. Here we go. Hold on. Put my password in. Bam! Placed. There you go, folks. I'm that confident in John Jones. He's literally, in my opinion, you take all the outside of the octagon stuff, all the shenanigans, that does not matter, because every time he steps into the octagon, if you look at his resume, Khabib, for example, if people just want to talk about how good John Jones, Khabib, and all these fighters are, Khabib has 13 total fights in the UFC. Total fights in the UFC. John Jones has 14 title fight wins. Not fights in the UFC, not title fights, period. Title fight wins in the UFC. He has Khabib's career in title fight wins. And if you look at the resume, you look at the people he beat, all of those are like UFC Hall of Famers. There's no way you cannot tell me that John Jones is not the GOAT. And if Francis Ngannou can do what he did on 2 blown-out knees to Cyril Gane, John Jones should have no problem beating Cyril Gane. Obviously, I think it'll be a tough fight. It'll be an entertaining fight. Still think John Jones will come out on top. And if there's betting value there, and I'm big on the betting. If you guys are not signed up on my Patreon, I don't know what you guys are doing. We went 2 for 3 on the week last or on the card last weekend. Let me pull up the Patreon just so you guys can see. There we go. As you can see, the only one that lost is the Damon Jackson, Sean Strickland, and the parlay hit as well. You guys can see it on my Instagram as well. All that actually is linked right down there, or the handle for my Instagram is down there. The Patreon link is in the description. Best MMA bets in the game. You guys are literally, if you guys, it's an investment. You guys are literally just like wasting your money if you guys are betting on these fights and not taking my advice. Because, for example, if you would have taken my bets, which all were plus odds, one bet, which alone, the Sean Strickland one, which was plus 110, you bet $5 on it, that won, so you would have won like $12.50, I want to say, total. So you would have made $7.50 back. So then you made your Patreon subscription back. And then on top of that, there was another bet that hit as well, which was another plus odds. So then you would have made another, you would have basically, if you bet 5 on that, you would have won 10 as well. You basically would have 3 extra money. I don't know what you guys are doing if you guys are not signed up on the Patreon. Jones will clear the heavyweights. I totally agree. I'm actually more excited for the potential Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic matchup. I really think that would be, I mean, in terms of legacy, Stipe is obviously the greatest heavyweight of all time. And he hasn't fought since that Francis Ngannou fight. So, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. It could be a good thing for him because he kind of lets his brain heal. And obviously, he was coming off some wars as well, going into that Francis fight with Daniel Cormier. So that could be good for him, but also he's getting a little bit old. I want to say he's like almost 37, 38 now. So that obviously you don't want to be taking time off. But either way, him and Jon Jones will be an exciting fight. That's definitely going to put butts in seats, and people are going to want to see that. So I don't know. I think if Jon Jones gets past Ciryl Gane, there's definitely some exciting fights on the horizon for him if he really wants to defend his belt. If he wins the heavyweight belt, I think he solidifies himself as the GOAT. I mean, 2 division weight champ, or 2 weight division champ. I mean, with the accolades, the people he's beat, it's kind of hard to deny Jon Jones is the GOAT. People like to talk about, steroids or all the shenanigans outside of the octagon. What he does outside of the octagon does not matter. The whole steroid thing was pretty much debunked. That the amount that he took is so small, he couldn't even visibly see it to take it. It obviously it had to have come from a tainted supplement. And even the amount that was found in his system, even if he intentionally took that super small amount, there's no performance enhancing benefits at such a microscopic picogrammic level that is like, it doesn't matter. You can say that if you want. You can be like, oh, he's tested for steroids. Yeah, but again, it's like literally if you the analogy of what he took was if you took a grain of salt and broke it into 50 million pieces, and one of those 50 million pieces is basically the size of steroids that he took. So take that for what you will. But Jon Jones is the GOAT, and I think he solidifies it in March if he beats Ciryl Gane. We've pretty much gone over all my notes, though. I mean, Jon Jones is back. Francis Ngannou is gone. I don't know what he's going to do. I really think it's his manager. I think his manager's screwing him over. I've had a weird feeling about his manager for some time, and I feel like his manager is going to probably suck whatever clout and money he can out of him, basically by trying to get him into these big boxing fights or whatever, so he can get a quick $5 million payday, quick $10 million payday. But he's not. He's going to have maybe 1 or 2 of those, and then his glory is going to be gone. But yeah, Gaethje Fiziev, probably potentially fight of the year. I'm excited to see that. Usman and Leon 3, that card in general, I'm excited for that whole card. I think just like for whatever reason now, I'm like really excited for cards that happen in London. The energy of the crowd, the crowd brings is insane. Actually, let me pull up the card real quick and see who is on the. What is that? Is that UFC 2? I don't even know. I'm like so. There's been so many fights that have been announced recently, it's so hard to keep track of what card is what. 286. UFC 286. Got Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman 3, the Gaethje Fiziev fight, Marvin Vettori and Roman Dolidze. That's actually probably going to be a pretty entertaining fight as well. Nathaniel Wood and Lerone Murphy. A lot of I got the whole Wood fam fighting on this card. You got Nathaniel Wood. Let me actually hold on. Sorry, I gotta switch over, folks. Nathaniel Wood, Joanne Wood, Jake Hadley's a young up and coming prospect, pretty entertaining fighter as well. I'm assuming there's probably gonna be more of the card that gets announced. This is the Jon Jones card. Doesn't look like there's anything on it, but yeah, a lot of big fights coming up in 2023. It's gonna be a great time to be a UFC fan. Let me go over really quick the card as well from last weekend, because I really wasn't expecting too much from the prelims. To be honest with you, I was more excited for the main card. The main card was kind of lackluster in my opinion, but the prelims had some pretty good fights. A lot of finishes early on as well. If I can pull this up, let me go ahead and switch back over on the OBS side to my other screen. Computer sounds like it's going to blow up. I don't know if my mic is picking that up. But you could probably tell visually by how fast everything's moving. I'll take a sip of water. Let me know if this picks it up, because I've been told that the mic quality on this is insane. Like, it picks up all kinds of noise. If you can hear me drinking this water, it might sound gross. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. I'm curious. Because I'm parched. I am parched. Oh wait, I gotta switch back over because you guys can see that. Here we go. Dan Argueta and Nick Aguirre. Oh wait, no, that's not. Charles Johnson, first fight of the night, got a nice little finish. Dan Argueta was scaring me a little bit. I was watching this fight. He was like a minus 490 closing dog. It says 520, but I think he closed at 490. He was in my parlay for the Patreon. He was scaring me a little bit. Had a pretty close first round, but ended up pulling through in the second and third. Had a pretty dominant decision win. Alan Nascimento got the first round sub as well. I did not see that actually. Mateusz Rebicki and Nick Fiore. Fiore looked like a really tough dude. Rebicki, obviously very dangerous. Looked like he just had more to offer, but he looks like he needs to tighten up his cardio a little bit. Claudio Ribeiro and Abdul Razak Al Hassan. This fight, I swear, I have a curse when it comes to Abdul Razak Al Hassan fighting. If I bet on Abdul Razak Al Hassan, he'll lose. Guaranteed he probably will get knocked out. Like every time. But the 2 times since he's been back in 2018, he took time off from like 2018 to 2020, and he came back in 2020. Every single time I bet on him, he got knocked out in like the first round. And then the 2 times that I did not bet on him are the only 2 times since 2020 when he came back that he's won. I swear that guy's cursed. Mateusz Madonsha and Javid Bashrat, very entertaining fight. But I mean, both these guys are young, entertaining prospects. A lot of potential for both these guys. Bashrat, I really like. He says he wants to fight a ranked guy, and I'd really like to see that. Umar Nurmagomedov and Howdy Barcelos. I actually need to get the clip from my stream. I'll make a clip and upload it on my YouTube, Instagram. Umar Nurmagomedov with an insane knockout. His striking, the thing is, he has incredible grappling. Like probably, I mean, what you would expect for the Dagestani caliber, that echelon of grappling. He has that. And then on top of that, he has insane striking. Like his kicks, his punches, very fast. This dude is going to be a very exciting guy to watch, especially as he rises through the ranks in the bantamweight division. A lot of killers at the top of the division. Personally, like one of my favorite fighters, if not my favorite fighter, Sean O'Malley, makes me nervous for him to fight somebody like this because I know how good somebody like Umar is. I don't know. I hate saying this, but that's a tough fight for Sean. A really tough fight for Sean. So I don't know. Maybe things get moving with Sean first. They get him a title shot. He gets some defenses in, goes up to featherweight, and then Umar takes over because this guy is scary. Ketlin Vieira and Raquel Pennington. I should have put this in my Patreon. I was even saying it in the stream. You guys can go back and watch on the stream when I did the fight companion. I thought Raquel Pennington was going to win. Nice underdog odds there as well. She moves into the number 2 spot in the bantamweight division. Punahele Soriano and Roman Kopylov. Kopylov pulling off the upset. I think Roman Kopylov actually is going to be somebody that's very exciting to watch fight in the UFC. Literally looks like a grown version of like Chase Hooper and maybe a more... maybe like he looks like Sean O'Malley if Sean O'Malley never like smoked weed. If Sean O'Malley never smoked weed, he would look like this. Let me find a picture of him with his afro though. Like he looked like what he looked like on Saturday. There you go. This is Sean O'Malley if he never smoked weed. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not that funny. But Dan Ige, Damon Jackson. Dan Ige get the brutal knockout for the performance of the night. I had Damon Jackson, lost some money there. That stinks. And then in the main event, Sean Strickland, another underdog, closing at plus 115. I got him at plus 110. That was a Patreon bet as well. Cruised through a pretty entertaining fight. In the first half, it was very entertaining. Then it looked like Strickland was taking over, and it was going to be Strickland's fight. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this weekend in MMA and MMA news. We've pretty much covered everything that's happened. We got 8 viewers. Is this an ASMR channel now? No. But I guess with this new mic, it's starting to sound like it. But yeah, pretty fast little episode. I kind of ran through everything quite quick. But it is kind of hard when you have one person. It's just me talking on here. I don't know. You kind of run through everything kind of quick, and then you don't know what to talk about. Then that's kind of how that's how the cookie crumbles. But hopefully next week, I'm actually going to be trying to get some guests on here. There's a fella, let me find him. My dad is trying to get me to reach out to this fella, Brian Petrie, I want to say. I don't know. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to be finding some people in the MMA community, MMA YouTube community, MMA betting scene potential. I could get some guys to come on, share some bets every week. I could go over the card next week, actually, because I think we have the UFC pay-per-view, but I could also just save that for the bets. Let me see. Let me go see who we got. It's the Tashira Hill card. Is there any good bets that catch my eye right off the top of the... right off the top of my head. Let me see. Terrence McKinney. I don't know anything about this Ishmael Bonfim guy. Sounds like he could be from somewhere in the eastern part of the world, so it kind of makes me scared. I would say go with McKinney. I like McKinney. He's a tough dude. But Daniel Marcos. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and say this, actually. Daniel Marcos, plus 145. I really like that. Not going to say that's an official bet, but I really like Daniel Marcos, plus 145. There could be some juice there. Gregory Rodriguez, I think that'd be a solid parlay piece. Nothing else really off the top of my head. If you guys want the best bets in the game, the ones that I research, I'll do my research throughout the week. You guys check it out on my Patreon. Linked in the description. Also with that comes a weekly vlog. You get voting privileges for my YouTube videos. You guys can ask me questions for the podcast, whatever you guys want. Join the Patreon, $5 a month. If you guys sign up and do the bets, you guys will like double your money. You guys will make money being on my Patreon. So sign up for the Patreon. If you guys have not already, go ahead and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Not end of the year. I'm trying to get to 5K subs by the end of the year. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, honestly, by like the end of February. Realistically, I could probably get there before then. When we get to 1,000 subs, I'm going to be doing merch. And if you're on the Patreon, you'll get discounted merch, and I'll be doing a giveaway. So you guys will get potentially someone will get a free shirt. So yeah. Be on the lookout for that. Go ahead and subscribe if you guys have not already. Like the podcast if you guys enjoyed the show, if you guys were entertained by it. Go ahead and check out some of my other videos as well. I do a little bit more short-form videos where I go over some topics in MMA, react to fights. I'm actually going to be recording a video later on today where I react to the Islam and Zabit fight. I don't know if you guys know about that. Islam Makhachev and Zabit actually fought in a professional fight. I don't know if it was professional. I think it was amateur, actually. But years back, I'm going to go ahead and react to that. So I do reactions, touch on topics in MMA. All kinds of fun stuff. I didn't realize also I'm out of frame for a portion of this, so that kind of sucks. Oh well, we'll keep it rolling. We roll with the punches. Nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, I will catch you guys next Monday for another episode of MMA Mondays. Peace.